We're back with some of the other top stories today. The GOP has big pushback here on financial reform. In my opinion, they should. The question is, do they have a plan of their own? The answer, of course, is not really. And then parents paddling in our schools. They say, bring it back. But we begin with the GOP's overwhelming opposition to the Democrats' plan for financial reform. All 41 of the Senate's Republicans signing a letter denouncing the bill. They say it allows endless taxpayer bailouts while creating regulatory powers that would handcuff small businesses and banks. As you might expect, President Obama disagrees.
In the coming weeks, every member of Congress is going to have to make a decision. Are they going to side with the special interests and the status quo, or are they going to side with the American people?
Actually, it looks like right now the White House, the Democrats and the Republicans have all sided with the special interests. It's just a matter of which one. All the legislation looks pretty grim. Here's the GOP version. They say let companies fail. They claim the interconnectedness that caused us to deliver the $23 trillion might not have been there. So hang on a second. Why would we deal with this? Let's let it stay as it is. Their plan for too big to fail, as I said, let it go. Republicans claim the odds are small of the interconnectedness, which really makes you wonder why we're having this whole conversation. I think they may be smoking something. It does, however, create a board to monitor the financial system. That sounds exciting and secretive, where the government gets to pick winners and losers, kind of like the Democrats. This I like, though. They do call to audit the Fed and take away its current regulatory responsibilities and reassign that to other agencies. The Federal Reserve, of course, the ultimate enabler of the bank scammers, printing money endlessly in secret for them to gamble with. They also, and I like this too, end credit rating agency monopolies over pension funds. Right now, pension funds have to take AAA or a certain rating in order to buy something, and only certain agencies are qualified to give that rating. Those agencies are selected by the government and paid by the banks. They were the ones that were rating the sort of thing that I was describing a few minutes ago, AAA, and we all know that was a crock. Here to mix it up, the host of the Young Turks, Cenk and blogger and columnist for politicsdaily.com, Matt Lewis. It's a pleasure to see you both. Matt, I'm concerned I'm getting a replay of health care. I feel like a guy trying to renovate his bathroom, and one contractor offers me a crap plan, and the other one offers me an even crappier plan, which is what I saw with health care, and it's what I'm sitting on, it looks like, with financial regulations. How do we actually get our two parties to propose real solutions to real problems instead of all the pretend and kabuki theater while the special interests walk off with the money?
Well, I don't want to be too pessimistic here. There is a chance that that Republicans and Democrats will work together, make the bill better. I would challenge your premise early on that Republicans are trying to block it. Mitch McConnell's letter actually says we encourage you to take a bipartisan and inclusive approach, and he also says that doing nothing is not an option. I think you're right, though, about the Fed. Look, this is a big problem. Part of Dodd's bill right now would give unprecedented regulatory authority to the Fed. What I want to know is who's going to be regulating the Fed. They got us into a lot of this mess. Exactly. And so
Cenk, if you were to look at these two political parties and the obvious solution, transparency, capital requirements, no more gambling in secret. If you want to gamble, gamble with your own money. A 5-year-old could write these rules, and yet 435 politicians don't seem to be able to even head in that direction. How do we create a pressure point on all of our politicians to actually reform the system, whether it's health care, in this case, banking?
Well, I agree with your position almost completely on this, Dylan. I think the Democratic proposal is far too weak. I'm very discouraged by it. I'm a little more encouraged that they're trying to strengthen it this week. That's been very positive. But I don't even know why we humor the GOP. I mean, part of the answer is we have to be real with the American people. The GOP is a wholly owned subsidiary of corporate America. Mitch McConnell and John Cornyn went and talked to the top 25 bankers, and they said, what do you need us to do to make sure we protect you? And then they come and do this proposal where they say, all right, we're going to try to kill financial reform. They're useless.
Well, with all due respect, I don't know that the Democrats are not a wholly owned subsidiary of corporate America either. The president did take $1 million from Goldman Sachs in 2008 himself.
No, I have
I'm not trying to be hopeless here, but I think it's not fair to just pin the Republicans.
No, it is entirely fair because, look, I don't disagree with what you're saying about the Democrats at all. And I have tremendous problems with them. I think Geithner is terrible. And I think listening to Bob Rubin was a disaster. So Democrats are very guilty of this as well. But the problem is we don't have an opposing party that'll actually keep their feet to the fire, that'll try to make the reform stronger. We have a party who's trying to make it weaker. So that's why I say the GOP is useless. I wish we had a real opposition party that could help us go down a better path.
I feel like we got renovated renovating my bathroom, and I got one bad plan and then a worse plan. I'm looking for two good plans. Can't seem to find one. I think I have a solution for all three of us, however, gentlemen. Backed by popular demand, paddling. We're starting in the school system, but maybe it'll make it to bankers and politicians. Probably some people want to paddle some media personalities, too. Today, the Washington Post reporting that schools in Temple, Texas, have restored corporal punishment for its school children at the request of the parents. Only one child has been paddled since it was reinstated, but student behavior has reportedly improved dramatically. Paddling is legal in 20 states across this country, largely in the Southwest, Central and Southern Midwest, and Southeast. 223,000 kids paddle each year, a quarter of them in Texas alone. Matt, is paddling the solution to our problems?
Well, Dylan, when you invited me on to talk about spanking, I assumed this was about the bondage-themed nightclub, but so you caught me by surprise.
We're
here.
over that.
No, look, I think that this is anachronistic at best. I understand you. I read Robert Caro's biography of Lyndon Johnson. He was a teacher in the Hill Country in Texas. Yeah. He actually did spank, and maybe there was a time and a place for this when small communities. But look, I would not want. I don't have any children, but if I had them, I sure as heck wouldn't trust a teacher. Half of which are idiots. Some of them are great.
Well, hold on. Don't bring the teachers into this.
If parents want to spank kids, that's their business. I don't want teachers doing it.
Cenk, what do you say? Spanking kids, and should we be spanking politicians and media personalities and bankers too?
This is getting a little too kinky for me, but we are making progress, though, because Matt and I agree. Yes, it's anachronistic. Now, by the way, the teachers don't do the spanking; the administrators do. But look, I'm going to go after the conservatives here a little bit because, of course, it's a conservative thing to do, and it seems like violence is always the answer. You don't like Iran, nuke them. You don't like the detainees, torture them. If kids doing something wrong, spank them, paddle them. It's not the answer. Give them real lessons that they can help to grow the kids and something they can learn from.
All right, listen, I'm most impressed at this point in the show, not on Blumenthal's reviewing of an investigation of Goldman Sachs or anything else that's been said so far, but that you two have now agreed, alert the blogosphere, alert the media. Cenk Uygur, Matt Lewis, in agreement. Don't spank their children. They'll take care of it for themselves if they want to. Gentlemen, a pleasure. Thank you.